In Part 1, we established that the Gothic sublime affects the mind through isolation and the unseen, rather than through explicit horror. In an empty, quiet setting, the reader's imagination begins to fill the shadows. Now we are going to build a complete 8-line stanza. We will set a metrical foundation, assemble the line step by step, and then check the final result to ensure it achieves the right effect. Before you write a single word, you must establish a rhythmic heartbeat. This meter sets the psychological pace for everything that follows. You have 2 primary frameworks to consider. The first is ballad meter. This was a favorite of writers like Sir Walter Scott and Coleridge, who used it to give their poems the feel of ancient folklore. Ballad meter is built on a simple alternation: 4 beats in the first line, known as tetrameter, followed by 3 beats, or trimeter. The second choice is iambic pentameter. This structure carries 5 beats in every line, creating a heavier, more architectural movement. For our demonstration, we will use the ballad meter. Its folkloric cadence is particularly effective at inducing a sense of archaic dread. We will start by drafting the first 4 lines, which we call the outer frame. Your goal is to establish a quiet setting and place a figure within it who is frozen in a moment of unexplained hesitation. In line 1, we must remove all modern references to time. By using terms like gloaming or vesper bell, you pull the reader into an unmoored historical reality. Line 2 describes a physical environment that is pale and still. The abbey stones represent an external world that is entirely undisturbed. Line 3 introduces our solitary figure. We keep his action minimal. He simply pauses beside a well. Line 4 introduces a perception. He feels a hush crossing his will. We are hinting at a disturbance without naming exactly what it is. This outer frame works because of its restraint. By withholding explicit action, the poem bypasses the reader's logical defenses before we even introduce a supernatural element. For the second half of the stanza, physical action stops completely. In line 5, a sensory shift occurs. No voice he heard, yet air grew thin. Line 6 records the internal emotional response to that shift. The disturbance is now happening inside the character's mind. Line 7 suggests a consequence through withdrawal. He looks back once, then turns away from whatever he felt. Line 8 must end in total silence. By stating he nor knew what watched, you ensure the tension is never resolved. Now that the frame is built, we move to the revision stage. This is where we apply a Keatsian polish by looking at the specific words that govern the poem's certainty. We use epistemic safeguards, words that keep the experience provisional. We've already used archaic time markers to move away from modern precision. Notice phrases like as though and nor knew what watched. These allow the threat to remain entirely implied rather than a concrete fact. Refusing to provide a direct answer is the specific technique that allows the feeling of the sublime to last after the poem is finished. Before we finish, we must test the stanza against a final standard, the one-sentence craft law. The test is this: could this stanza be retold as folklore around a fireside without losing its fundamental impact? If your poem depends on explicit blood or named monsters, it fails this test. That shifts the work away from the Gothic tradition. Because our stanza relies on atmosphere and the unknown, it passes. It functions through implication. By combining a consistent meter with archaic framing and a focus on the unseen, you have successfully built a psychological experience. Now use this 8-line template and your chosen meter to draft your own stanza. Post your 4 best lines in the comments so we can see how you applied these. The Gothic genre is defined by the mystery it leaves behind. Leaving the threat in the shadows ensures the experience stays with the reader.